I'm obsessed with vaudeville.
Vaudeville?
It is vaudeville. It really is. Vaudeville, because with vaudeville, it's this thing where you are truly an entertainer.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty over the top stuff.
Aren't really portraying your own individual personality.
Yeah, I mean, you're acting.
You're deeply
exaggerating every characteristic,
a particular emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like vaudeville is like the original cartoon.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
So, but with that, at the same time...
It's like Roman theater.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. So then at the same time, as much as you could potentially try to fake... Not fake, but like try to recreate an emotion or a creative thing and like like whatever, your individual personality is still going to shine through a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a little bit more of an elegant way to show your individuality.
Oh, sure.
So that's why I'm obsessed with that stuff. I think that's so friggin' cool. Like, I don't know.
The exaggerations are highlighting certain aspects of your personality. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that.
Because we all express emotions differently, and if you put yourself into a realm where you're trying to portray a particular character by removing your personal individuality,
well,
it's a very innocent way to see your actual self.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Is that weird? You see what I'm trying to say? I don't know how to describe it. It's very, like I said, I'm fascinated, and I'm studying that right now because it's so cool.
Yeah.
And as an artist, a drummer, whatever, it's like try to figure that out. Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of actors, use acting as a form of self-awareness training. Like, do you know who George Gurdjieff was?
Yes.
Yeah. He was going to put on like a ballet back in like the 19-teens, and it never happened. But he was planning on it. It was going to be called The Struggle of the Magicians.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what it was going to be was like these two like secret societies of magicians that were having like a sort of hidden war in a sort of like a Turkish type city. And there were going to be like the people who were in the white magic brotherhood and people who were in a black magic brotherhood. And it was going to be like kind of a musical dance thing.
Wait, what is that?
Like occult societies will...
White magic brotherhood and black magic brotherhood? What does that mean?
Yeah. That's like, behind the scenes in this world are certain occultists, people who know some of the more hidden aspects of reality or the invisible aspects of reality, and they try to move the greater culture in certain directions from behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And like a white magic brotherhood would be a group of people that are more into like general spirituality, like positivity, healing, helpfulness, happiness, prosperity, peacefulness, those sorts of enlightenment type things.
And black magic
is exploiting people, dominating people, enslaving people.
Okay. Parentheses. Continue.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So like Gurdjieff wanted to show this sort of behind the scenes thing that always happens in society. Every culture experiences these sorts of secret groups that try to do these things, but it was going to be the same dancers who were going to play both sides. So like in one scene, there'll be these dancers doing the white magic scenes with certain dance moves. And then the same dancers would just change their costumes, and they'd be the actors who are in the dark magic brotherhood doing different dances that are sort of like ugly and uncomfortable. The white magic dances would be like beautiful and lovely and flowing and graceful. And the black magic dances would be like ugly and uncomfortable. And the point was to get these actors to examine themselves, to become aware of themselves and these different aspects of themselves, the good aspects, the evil aspects, and whatnot. And it was like a way of getting his students, who would be the dancers, or getting dancers to become his students, to have a type of self-awareness training in that way.
Whoa.
Yeah. It never came to pass. He just was never able to get the production going. But he talked about it for a few years. And it was interesting. Rudolf Steiner eventually did something like that. Like, he has mystery plays with dancing and things like that. He calls those special body movements eurythmy. It's kind of similar to what Gurdjieff was doing. But actors these days, they some of them are privy to this kind of idea that, like, you know, you get into a different headspace, you're playing a different character, you're playing someone else, you're acting as someone else, but in that way it helps you examine those aspects of yourself. Like, you know, somebody who's going to play like a serial killer in a show has to like get into the headspace of a serial killer, and then in doing so they'll probably face some of their own darkness. It'll pull things out of them that they can then deal with in a healthy way, you know.
I mean, I guess the way I think about that too is like, you know, it's like method acting, right? It's method acting. I would assume is something where like you are completely detaching yourself from your own existence,
right,
and becoming a different person.
Yeah.
So that you can act and like do that, right?
Well, I'm not sure
you can do that
completely.
Well, no, but you can't. It's almost like, I hate this term, but it's almost like astral projecting. But you're not astral projecting for a moment. You're doing it for like 2-3 months.
Yeah. But
which I don't think is.
I mean, if you
healthy,
if you completely did it though,
but
you wouldn't remember
possible.
It. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But what I was trying to say is like, you know, that's how we learn as artists, musicians, painters, singers, anything, right? The way you learn is by first imitating.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then once you imitate based on the things that are interested in you or interested to you.
Yeah.
It's also interested in you.
Yeah.
The truth.
It's poetry.
Yeah. Then you then try to make your own stew with your favorite potatoes and onions or whatever the frick it is, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey, this is a pretty good like soup. I like this soup, you know, like cool. Yeah. And then you just keep moving forward with it, and then eventually you have your existential crisis where you go, I'm nothing but a stew of other people. Right. I don't exist. You know, like, I'm not important. I didn't do anything amazing. But I think what it is like, then you need to take a deep breath and eliminate your ego, because not eliminate, but just like be like, hey, bud, like relax.
Take a breath,
son. Take a deep breath. Because all of art is an amalgamation of growth that might be outside of you, which is like we're saying before, is like we are only transients of expression, and your expression is adding to something bigger than you. So to expect that you're the biggest thing is detrimental to your own personal health.
Yeah.
You know, your own psyche. It's just like, no, I mean, and I guess you could get like real gnar and negative and be like, well, I'm just a wheel and a cog then, like,
right,
or a cog and a wheel,
cog in a machine or something.
I'm just a link in a chain, like whatever. But like, but fuck you, but you are. We all are, you know what I mean? Like, no one's Jesus. I mean, it's just, that's what we were taught, is that Jesus exists and follow him. He's the greatest thing ever. And like, everyone wants to be freaking Jesus. Like, that's insane. But Jesus was like, no, but I'm the greatest. But at the same time, like,
that's Jesus.
I'm not. And you aren't either. That's like the real lesson.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Jesus said, "Ye are gods."
Well, we are all God, but that's the point. It's like you can't convince yourself that you're fucking Yeezy.
Right.
Because you're not.
Right.
Like, no one is. Right?
Yeah, probably not.
So, sure, we have the Dalai Lama and stuff. But, like, even him, he's going to be the first person who would probably say, it's like, I don't mean shit.
Oh, yeah, sure. And he's already said things like that. Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to art, it's like, if it's something you love, just put as much as you can into it and enjoy yourself and have fun. And just pray that you can potentially gift back to something that brought you like great happiness.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know.
For sure.
I should have just said that sentence in the beginning.
No, it was good.
But yeah.
Yeah, people get too hung up on like trying to be innovative. It's like I want to do something new, something that nobody's ever done before, and they like lose their mind about not being able to do that because everything's essentially been done before. And I mean, you have to find that balance between like, you have to be okay with just being slightly innovative. You don't have to be completely fucking innovative. You could be slightly innovative, and that's cool. Or don't be innovative at all, and perfect something that's already been done. Mm-hmm. And don't innovate on it at all. Just do it really goddamn well. Or just do something that you find interesting and fun and beautiful, even if it's been done before. And even if you're not perfecting it, you're just doing it because it's more of a beautiful thing. Like, you go outside to a flower garden, and there are going to be 150 violets. They're all just violets. You don't just have one violet. That would be fucking stupid as shit. You have 150. No one's complaining that there are 150 violets. Like, I'll listen to 100 different punk rock bands when I was a teenager. They all sounded almost identical. And I loved all of them. I didn't care that they all sounded the same. I liked that kind of music. And like, those guys didn't innovate on anything. And yet I absolutely loved those bands. And it's not like the world is lesser because they didn't innovate. They did fine. And yeah, like I know artists, musicians and producers who don't publish their music because it's like it's not good enough or it's not innovative enough or like I could get it better. It's like, dude, it's good enough. Just publish it. And they just never publish it because they're like, it's just not good enough. I'm like, dude, it is good enough. You have to know when it's just good enough. Mm-hmm. And yeah, being obsessed with it.
When to let it go. Like,
yeah, just like, let it go.
Fine, like I did it. It's whatever. If it's not good enough, I think the idea of a piece of art not being good enough is because, I mean, let me track back a little bit to make this make sense. I think all artists and creatives go through tides. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times when you're at like the top of your wave is when you're finishing something that just came to you and you're so ready for that like breaker, that crest, that you already have a whole bunch of other ideas for something brand fucking new. And you're so excited about it. And you're like, what I just made is not good enough.
Sure.
But it's only not good enough because you're so excited about the new thing you're going to be making.
Right. Yeah.
You know? So it's like you can't like give respect to the last thing you did.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, but still, like you said, put it out.
Yeah.
Freaking put it out, man. Like, it's, it might mean something to somebody, or it might mean something to yourself, or, like, you put enough work into it, share it. It's like, if I'm going to go into my backyard and cook 35 cheeseburgers and eat 2 of them, am I going to then walk away and be like, well, these cheeseburgers are not good enough. I want to make steaks tomorrow, and then throw
them out. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, with me,
throw them out. I was like, no, have a cheeseburger. Let me call my neighbors over, have some burgers. Like, I made them. Like, they're not the best, but they're good.
They're good.
No one's gonna be like, these suck.
Well, someone might, but fuck them.
Yeah, and fuck that person.
Yeah, it's like, who cares?
Fuck that person.
Your music
I know
wasn't
I told
for
my
that
mom
guy.
I'm not supposed to say the F word anymore, but fuck that person.
Sorry, Mrs. DeVinco.
You know,
But,
it's like,
yeah.
it's still a cheeseburger and I made it for you.
Yeah,
so
'cause-
enjoy
'cause-
and let me be creative. I'll make steaks tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
the way I see it
my
is
point.
like you learned a skill, like while you were let's say you're making a record and
Yeah.
you've got some instruments that you're working with and you have the skills you've learned in the previous years and you're employing all those skills and the tools you have and you make a record. And while you're making that record, you learned a couple new composition techniques. Maybe you got a new instrument that's better than the one you're recording with. And it's like, well, shit, I want to use these new techniques I've been learning and the new instrument I have. And I just finished a record with old techniques and the old instrument. And it's like, well, so fucking what? You're always going to get new techniques. Put it out anyway. You're always going to learn something new that's better than the last thing you did.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Just put it out, man.
Exactly. I mean,
Like, if you have that mentality, you're never going to put anything out ever because you're always going to learn something better.
and you're just going to be continuously condemning yourself.
Yeah, you're just gonna think that you suck all the time, and it's
Isn't
like
that sad?
you're gonna get an ulcer thinking that way.
That's so sad that people think that way.
Yeah, it's like, don't go all Kanye West saying you're the Messiah and the voice of a generation, but like also don't tell
Oh
yourself
no,
that
that's
you
like
suck.
30,000 steps ahead of insanity.
Yeah.
We're
Like,
just
you
trying
just
to
have that-
dig up artists.
That balance where it's like you know you don't suck, but you're not like arrogant about it.
I know I've done it a whole bunch to myself.
Yeah, just like you've got some skill and you're competent and you can do this, and just do it. To all of you artists, painters, musicians, whoever, publish your shit, put it out there. It's good enough. It is good enough.
Yeah, as long as you enjoyed your moment of creating.
Yeah.
If you had a amazing time, you felt good in that moment of whatever it is you're creating, music, painting, singing, writing, building a house, like what, I don't know, it could be fucking anything, any type of creation. If you felt good and enjoyed it in the moment, it's worth putting out.
Yeah, it's
it's
probably
worth sharing.
Yeah,
The
someone's gonna
problem
like
is
it.
then you walk away and you're not high on your dopamine anymore.
Oh yeah,
So then you go, well, that made me feel amazing, but I don't feel good now.
oh yeah, that's a
Now you look at it in a negative
yeah.
way.
Yeah, that's a different issue.
Yeah, but I think that might be a key to why you people or me have, or you, whoever, any artist has fear of like releasing something or releasing, drop the record, whatever, sharing something with other people. And I mean, again, also other people, especially non-artists, are going to have an opinion.
Yeah, right. Yeah, everyone's gonna have an opinion.
You know, so that's why you don't read the comments.
Right. Yeah, just ignore that shit.
Like, I don't give a fuck. I felt good about what I made, and I'm going to continue to feel good about making things, and that's what makes me happy. And it has nothing to do with the, oh, look at what I made. What do you think? Is it cool? It's really cool, right? Aren't I cool? Like, aren't I freaking, look at me? It's like, no, that's not the reason you do it.
Yeah.
The reason you do it is because you are alone in your little freaking room painting or making whatever, and or creating in front of a concert like show situation, and you're going inward and you're blessing yourself. And if you bless yourself, then it's easier to disseminate blessings upon other people.
Yeah, well said. Very well said. But I will counter that with
Okay.
Lady Gaga.
Okay.
She does it for the applause, 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 applause. She does it for the applause, 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 applause.
What is that? Is that a...
It's one of her most stupid fucking songs, man.
That's a lyric.
I do it for the applause, 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 applause.
But
It's
don't
so
you think
dumb.
she's being like kind of kitschy by putting those lyrics?
Probably.
Like she's kind of pointing a finger at it and like.
I hope that's the truth.
I
hope
think
that's
she
the
is.
fact.
I think she
Because
is.
I don't want to think she's that much of a piece of shit.
No, I think she's a bad motherfucker like that, where she does
I don't
that
know.
shit. Sorry, Mom, I keep saying the F word. You, my mom doesn't like me to say the F word.
I don't know. Moms want their sons to say the F word.
No, I think she does it purposely to be like
Yeah, maybe. That
kind of
hopefully-
pointing her finger. I mean, you saw the video where she's like hugging the crystal.
I don't think I saw the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too.
I think
clued in.
she's a bad MF. She knows. I think she knows what she's doing. I think that was a parody.
I hope so.
I believe it is. I'm on her team. I believe.
Yeah, Team Gaga. Are you're a creature? What are they called?
Monster.
A little monster. That's so demeaning.
No.
That is so demeaning.
No, I'm not a monster. I don't give a shit.
I hate when people call their fans things like that.
I think it's stupid.
It's really rude and demeaning.
It is. I mean, people take it as like, oh, I am something. It's identity.
Yeah.
But it's fake identity.
Yeah, and it's like you're little. She's saying you're little, a little monster. She's
Yeah.
the big one, and
You're
you're
my
the little
minion.
one. Yeah. It's like,
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up.
yeah, it's pretty weird. It's pretty arrogant. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I agree with that. 100%. Actually, you know what? Fuck Lady Gaga. Oh, shit. I said the F word again.
You said the F word again. But this time it was in an appropriate context. No, I'm just kidding. We're just throwing shade at pop stars now.
Oh, but I like her. I don't know.
Yeah.
I do.
She reminds me.
Oh, wait. Hold on. So I have a theory.
Okay. That she. Never mind. Go ahead. I'm not going to say that.
Lady Gaga is pop Marilyn Manson.
I think Marilyn Manson is pop Marilyn Manson.
Lady Gaga is Marilyn Manson.
They're the same person.
No,
Okay.
no. She took her music like ra 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 ra.
Okay. Oh God.
That's a Marilyn Manson song.
Well, and it's also
I don't know how well versed you are
what I
on
was
Marilyn
gonna-
Manson.
Yeah,
I was
listened to a lot of-
obsessed with him for a while. Like, her music is a digestible pop.
Sure. And it probably
Silver, blue, yellow, green, red. Oh, this is how I am. But it's the same exact music, but Marilyn Manson's is black, gray, red,
hers is just less
brown,
industrial.
Like, yeah.
But it's like a lot of the
But
same
it's the
melodies,
same exact fucking song, the
rhythms.
same exact like vocal thing. It's a
Yeah.
head voice,
Well, what
melodies.
I was gonna say is that that pop star from the '80s, the "Send Me an Angel" right
Yes,
now.
yes.
Literally, Lady Gaga sounds exactly like that music.
Dude.
There's literally no difference. I've listened to an entire record of these two, and they sound like
I'm
the
not blowing
same
mine.
production techniques, the same chord progressions. The vocals sound extremely. I don't want to get copyright strikes.
You can't hear audio?
If it's someone's music, we're gonna not be able to make money on this video.
Well, we're not making any money anyway. All right, well,
I mean, we could put ads on it.
I did sing the song.
Yeah, no, that
doesn't matter.
No, that didn't really sound
You
like
could do
it.
like
You'd
20
have to-
seconds. But you see what
it
I'm
has to sound
saying?
exactly like it. Yeah.
Like if you think of like
Yeah, it's all copies. I mean, there are like 5
what's that
music
song?
producers.
I think it's called Dope Hat. It's
Yeah. Oh, that one. I thought you were talking about the ice hockey song.
I
have no idea.
That song, like all of these songs, it's the same
Oh, yeah.
exact thing that she's doing.
Yeah, I mean,
And it's so fucking funny because there's so many people I know that fucking are like, Marilyn Manson is fucked up, like, piece of shit. But Lady Gaga's awesome. I love her. It's like, just the
She's
same
just
music.
as fucked up. She's a creepy girl.
Yeah,
People don't know how creepy she is. They don't pay attention to her enough. She's a pretty creepy
She
person.
did wear meat
Yeah. She does weird, like,
to a show.
yeah, she does weird shit like that too. Like,
I love that shit.
all right.
I mean, like I said, I like pouring gasoline on the frame and burning it.
Yeah, if you're into that.
It's fun. Burn down, like, the existence so you can open up your perception. No?
I mean, if...
Is there a better way to do it?
Well, sure.
Okay.
I mean, like, there are certain constants and there are certain things that can change. Like, 1 + 1 will always equal 2. It's not like you can burn down that and make it equal 3, as much as people wish they could. So there's some things that can be burned down and some things that should just be built upon.
But if you burned the tips of the ones and it turned to ash and went to smoke into the air, are those ones still equaling 2? Fractions.
Fractions. Well, I didn't really understand the question.
It's more of a statement.
Well, you asked if the ones were still equaling 2.
Yeah, are they?
Well, if they're not ones anymore, then they're not ones that are equaling 2.
Fractions.
Yeah, so then it's not 1 + 1 = 2 anymore anyway. It would be
Yeah.
something else plus something else equals something else.
Exactly.
You're not changing 1 + 1. You're making it into something else.
Yes. That's what I like.
Okay. Cool.
Fractions. I guess it's I guess I like fractions.
Okay. Fractions.
Weird.
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry.
No, I get it. No, I'm just trying to understand.
I'm trying to understand. That's why I'm asking. Like, yeah.
No, I mean, think like there are movements in art that I think are not conscious. They're like mechanical. Like the idea of doing something new for the sake of doing something new is just like, imagine if you had a magnet pointed up at the north end, and then you threw another magnet pointed at the north end to it, and it just repels. It's like there's nothing special or artistic about it. It's just a mechanical reaction. So when I see someone who's like, I'm going to overthrow this artistic tradition because I just want to do something new, and it's like, well, you're like a robot. It's just like you're just a north end of a magnet hitting a north end of a magnet and shooting off in another direction. Like, why are you doing it? Because you don't like the tradition that's there. And you're just going to throw something at it and go in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
And it just seems really mechanical to me, and it doesn't seem very human to do that. Like, if you have a good fucking reason and you're using certain, like, spiritual principles or something like that to make something new, and it happens to go against the old tradition, sure. But if you're doing it just to go against the old tradition, that's just a mechanical movement, and I don't find too much excitement in that.
Really? You think that?
Yeah.
Because wouldn't you think, like, going with the mechanical tradition...
Well, no, but because there are good reasons for the tradition. I mean, you look at something like the Sphinx, and it has hidden cosmological knowledge in it. The size of the paws represent, certain movements of stars. Like the pointing of the pyramids, like there are reasons for certain pieces of artwork that have knowledge hidden in them about the cosmos.
An anarchist or something?
Maybe. I mean, certain traditions exist for good reasons, and in my opinion...
And I totally, like, I'm there. Yes.
Arbitrary traditions that have a bad effect could be destroyed because they're not real traditions. They're just...
But aren't they just like a foundation to find new things?
Well, yeah, but that's the foundation that you need to keep. That's my point.
I have a great question. So, yes, that's our foundation.
Yeah.
All of these things we've learned through humanity and like all this stuff. So where is the crux where you break a little bit of the rules or whatever so you can keep a wonderment and learn something new and potentially create something that hasn't happened before? Because, and as like a little tail end thing, it's like, oh, everything's been created before. I think everything that has been created is everything that we know. So it's easy to say that because there's things that we don't know that's been creative. So I think that's like a punch down on creation.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's so many things that haven't been creative. Like, who are created? Like, what are you talking about? Right? So, like, what is that, like, fine line between respecting the foundation and breaking rules so that you can create something new?
Well, I think it would have to be a specific thing. Like, I don't know if there's a general rule that can be broken and replaced with a general rule, but like take the pyramids at Giza. They're aligned fractions. Like the pyramids at Giza were aligned to the 3 stars of Orion's belt at a particular period of time. They don't align anymore because it was so many thousands of years ago. So now you could build monuments that align to different stars. Like there are certain monuments in the north, in like the UK, that aligned to the pole star back when it was Arcturus. But the pole star isn't Arcturus right now. What's
Arcturus?
It's a star in the northern sky. Now the pole star is a star we call Polaris. And
okay.
So like
I had my uncle had jet skis. That were called Polaris.
Yeah. So if you wanted to make a monument that was northward oriented and had a stellar mythology to it, you couldn't use the King Arthur mythology with the Arcturus star. You'd have to come up with like a King Polar mythology.
What's the King Arthur
It's
Jesus.
So do you know who like
You really did read like 1,000 books.
I've read almost 3,000. Yeah.
Last time you said that, I was just like, you friggin' egotistical.
No, it's like a book a week since I was a teenager.
Yeah, you're amazing for reading.
I love reading. I love.
Sorry,
it. Yeah.
so Arteris.
Yeah, so a lot of our mythologies and religious systems come from stellar configurations, stellar movements. De Santa Anna and von Deckend are two writers who wrote a book called Hamlet's Mill who explain this very well. So like you can read a mythology and find hidden astronomical knowledge in it. A lot of mythology is like explaining cosmological configurations. So like, the world revolves around the king idea. The North Star, right now it's Polaris, it used to be Arcturus, it doesn't move. The rest of the sky moves around it. It's like a hub of a wheel when you see it over time. You see the night sky move around, and that star pretty much stays exactly where it is because the axis of the Earth is pointing right at it.
Okay.
So if you have that as your central aspect of your mythology, that's the king, and everything else moves around the king. You can build a mythology about like certain wars that go on or certain events that happen or whatever, but it's all just talking about how certain stars move at different times, certain planets move at different times. And you can mythologize this into a fable or a fairy tale about someone slaying a dragon or two armies going to war with each other, but it's like hidden astronomical knowledge. But since the pole star is no longer Arcturus, and since the sky has moved like 17 degrees off its axis since that mythology was popular, you would have to make a new mythology based on where the constellations and planets are moving in this age. So like you could throw out a lot of old mythology and come up with a lot of new mythology and new traditions, new monuments to build, pointing at new stars, new stories to tell around campfires that are about different constellations and different planets that are doing different things now. And the old mythology might not apply so much in the future. Like, Osiris the hunter and his companion, his Sirius the dog, might not shoot at the bull or something like that 5,000 years from now. They might be pointing somewhere else or something, you know what I mean? And that could be a time when you change certain aspects of your creative process. But like to me, real art has to come from a place like that where like something is meaningful, like it can apply to your life and isn't necessarily subjective, but has an objective component to it.
Yeah, no, I think it's a passion that comes out of you. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess real art, as you said, is a little bit of a paradox.
Yeah.
Because I found that art is a form of expression for the pain inside of your body.
That's some people do it for that reason.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's where I'm at lately with art. But I think that's a beautiful thing. I mean, I think some of the most beautiful art that exists is based on that, Mm-hmm. And like the beauty of it is that like someone else can look at that art, whatever medium it is, and be like, oh, it's not just me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, yeah, that
makes me feel like a little safe. It's just not in my mind. Mm-hmm. It's other people experience this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now I have a catalyst to take this thing that I've been going with and be like, oh, it's someone else, and fuck. Yeah. And then you can face your fears, because I think the whole thing with life is facing your fears. If you can't face your fears, your emotions, then you're stuck in like limbo. Mm-hmm. It's okay to listen to a song that's really sad and it connects to something in your life and you fucking cry.
Yeah.
You know, you cry.
Yeah, that's exactly
You know?
what you said right there is what I think is the difference between art and non-art. Is like,
Yeah.
if you...
Good art and bullshit.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's one way of putting it. Yeah, to me it's like,
Intention.
if you have a feeling and you create a piece of work and other people feel the exact same feeling, that's art.
Yeah. Oh.
If you create something that like this guy feels that way, this guy feels a different way, this person feels a different way about it, this is probably not art. It's probably something, but there's no shared experience and it's extremely subjective now. You're missing that real primordial objective fact about the art, and therefore it might not be art, but just some type of weird expression, some type of abstract thing. But if you can get a whole group of people to feel the exact same thing, that's art, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Because to me, that's power. And you're spreading a type of knowledge, an emotional intelligence that everybody can now relate on. And that's going to move that group of people or that culture in a positive direction now because they've suddenly been put on the same page about something. And that to me is important. You know? So that was a good way of putting it, what you said.
I think you summed it up perfectly. What's scary about it is I totally agree.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm yes, 110%. What's scary about it is that doesn't also mean that there can be art where you express it, but it's not for anyone.
Not for anyone. What, like you're going to hide it or that it's
like your journal.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You know?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, there's some art that people intentionally hide or just don't want to share it.
Yeah, so then you can get confused.
Oh, yeah.
So then it's like, I put good intention, like everything you just explained, the way you like kind of put together what I just said or was trying to get at, like, you know, it's like, that's art, right? Like that's what we need to do as an artist, or that's the ethos, the golden cup that like you pray that you, it's like, I hope I could do that, right. You know, because most musicians, painters, freaking whatever the shit it is, you pray that you could create something that will affect other people the way that you were affected by the artist that you love, that brought like beauty into your life. Right? It's just like re-manifesting, like, yeah, it's called passing the torch or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, at what point do you feel that you can be an artist that is worthy of that? You know, like, where's that like tipping point where you can be like, oh, I'm actually like giving something of substance?
I don't know. I mean, if somebody comes up to you and tells you that you did, you know, someone says like, oh my God, that piece of artwork that you created 5 years ago that I experienced, like, I just want to tell you, it got me through this, that made me feel this, I was so grateful for that. If someone comes up to you and says that to you, then obviously you're on the right track. Yeah. You know?
But also, I mean, like 85% of artists that are highly regarded died penniless.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and now they're like, a god among men.
Yeah, after they're dead, you mean? Yeah.
So it's like, I'm gonna go to my grave just like sucking life, but like trying to create as much as I can and be positive and like, go take it. I don't know. Yeah, you know, like what? That's another weird thing to think about. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's just part of what our culture values, unfortunately.
That's weird, right? It's so strange.
Like, people don't like paying for artwork. They don't like paying salaries to artists. They just like treating them like entertainers, you know?
I know, which is so funny because like a football player.
Oh, God. Playing a kid's game for $24 million a year.
For $24 million a year. Like, and then you go, I'm a musician. And they're like, well, what's your real job?
Yeah, exactly. Like, go fuck yourself.
You, dude. My real job is that I'm fucking making your life better every day. You listen to my records, you listen to my favorite people's records, you would be so shittily off. Shittily, you'd be in the ethos of
you'd be miserable,
climbing up things miserably if you didn't have
music and poetry.
If you didn't have Elvis or Johnny Cash or who's the one I'm thinking of? Like
fucking
Pretty Woman. What's his
Lou
name?
Reed. Oh, Pretty Woman. I don't know. I can't remember.
Oh, come on. Whatever.
Yeah, but yeah.
You know, it's like if you didn't have these beautiful storylines. I mean, even we're talking before about Wizard of Oz. Like it's all these songs that create and show emotion, and it makes you feel like I'm not alone.
Right. Yeah.
Right? I think music is one of the most important things for society across the board. It's the universal language to show love and care, and you're not alone and all this shit. But if you're a musician, well, what's your real fucking job?
Yep. We get treated like fucking like the bottom of the goddamn barrel.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. And yeah, it's so fucked up. And like in most of society, musicians were slaves. Like if you were a musician, you're just going to be a slave to like a bunch of aristocrats.
The entertainer.
Yeah. And like you were told what to sing and shit like that.
Yeah.
And it's still that way. I mean, pop stars, they can't really write their own music. They're told what to sing by like the 5 producers in California that have written all pop songs since the 80s. And it's just we're just treated like crap. And it's just like, for some reason, people obviously extremely value music in high regard. Everybody listens to it and everybody loves it. Yeah, in their mind and like in their soul.
Their heart.
Yeah.
In their soul.
They know they love
existence.
it. And then they're like, well, I'm not going to pay for it.
But not in their pocket.
Yeah. It's like, I'm just going to stream it off of Spotify and not pay these artists. And it's like, why do you not value what we do? Like, you obviously love what we do, but you don't think it's worth money? It's like, I don't understand people's mentality. I mean, I think I do understand it, but it's extremely cynical and pessimistic. But it's disappointing is what I mean.
It is, yeah. I mean, you can make a ridiculous amount of money if you had a hit TV show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
On
but
Netflix.
That's 1 in 100 million
musicians. If you have
musicians.
a hit record on Spotify,
it doesn't mean shit.
Taylor Swift made like $30,000 on her fucking gold record.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. Well, that was because it was mostly owned by other people. But yeah, like streaming royalties off these internet services, we get paid like 0.0005 cents per stream, when if we got that same song streamed on the radio,
0.001% or 0.05% of a penny.
Of a penny. Yeah, something like that.
Per stream.
Yeah. Whereas on a radio, that same song got streamed on a radio, it's something like 14 cents per play and per listener. And it's like, dude, we are getting paid a fraction.
Plays on my record.
Get paid nothing.
Once a month, I get like between $4 to $6.
Yeah. Yep. I'll get like a $10 check from Spotify. Like,
it's not even a coffee
every
from Starbucks.
6 months. Yeah, it's insane. And
for a record, I put
a
lot of money into.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
And nobody gives a shit. I talk about this with my friends and family, and nobody fucking cares. I'm like, you guys can buy my record on Bandcamp for like $8 to $10, and I will make $8 to $10 right there with one sale. You stream my record 1 million times, I'm gonna make 0.4 cents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, can you people just buy my record? It's like, well, Spotify's so convenient. It's like, I don't.
It is convenient. I do really like Spotify. I will say that.
Yeah, but it's like, it's not like you're going to fucking, when you need brain surgery, you're not going to find like the cheapest brain surgeon off the street. You're going to pay for that fucking brain surgeon because you don't want to get stabbed in the fucking brain by an amateur.
Let's boycott.
Yeah, they value the...
Let's start a musician boycott. We deserve money. We deserve money. We care about you.
Well, we did that with radio back in the 50s and 60s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, back in the 50s and earlier, if you wanted...
not to cut you off, but like, it's a valiant profession.
Well, yeah.
You're trying to express yourself to give love to other people.
Yeah. And
apparently love doesn't cost anything but your own money now, I guess.
yeah, I mean, people are so out of touch with reality these days.
Yeah,
Everything's
sorry.
upside down.
I cut you off. Continue.
Yeah, when radio came out, if you made a record and you wanted somebody to play it on the radio, you had to pay them. You had to like convince this guy to put your record on the radio, and you had to throw him like $20 or something, which in the 40s was like $3,000 million.
Well,
I'm kidding.
That. But you give him
had to give him a bunch of money.
Yeah,
and then if you were lucky, you'd hear it played that night at 6:30 p.m. And then that was that. These days, if you get your record played, the radio has to pay you. It's the other way around, because they make money off of advertising and shit like that, and government subsidies and stuff. And so those laws don't apply to the internet. They only apply to analog radio wave technology. So when the internet came out and all these streaming services started playing music, it was like, oh, well, we don't have to pay royalties because the law doesn't cover internet technology. We can get away with playing it. We don't have to follow the radio laws because that's for a specific type of technology. And now no one can get these laws passed to apply to the internet. No one's doing it. The politicians are just getting bribed. Our government's so corrupt. Nobody cares. Whenever somebody tries, the politician's like, well, no, Spotify just pays me millions of dollars in bribes, and I'm not going to write new laws. No, screw that. And so nothing gets done. We have all these advocacy groups. Damn. I mean, Donald Trump made that music advocacy group in the government trying to get us paid.
I don't know about this.
Yeah, it was like the music... I think it was called the MMA, like mixed martial arts. It was called like the Music Something of America or something like that. And it was an institution that he was going to try and force the internet companies to pay musicians. And when Biden got put in office, he immediately closed it. Yeah, like that's our government. That's what happens.
That's how that makes me feel.
Yeah. It's like...
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. It's like they just... want to exploit musicians.
So you're a Trumper?
No, but I mean, I'm objective. He did some good things. He did some not so good things. To me, he was just a normal president. I don't see him as anything else than just another president.
I feel like he was like the most normal president we've had.
I know.
Since
probably since like Nixon.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, he was very normal to me. I don't know what the whole everybody's so pro-Trump and everybody's so anti-Trump. To me, is like he's just a guy.
He's just a guy trying to do a good job,
doing the same shit every other president does.
That's all it is.
I don't understand why everyone's losing their shit over this guy.
Meanwhile, you know, you can describe America in one word.
Yeah.
I was in the
Shipping under pressure.
I was in the foothills of Himalayas. No, you haven't heard that?
No.
Oh, it's Biden.
Oh, yeah, his...
That's a Biden quote.
Yeah.
He literally, that's like almost to the T, his quote.
Wow. He's said a lot of nonsense like that. Yeah,
They can't even put words together.
Robo Biden, the robot, the remote control.
Oh, he's
Biden's
a robot? You think he's a...
He's probably a robotoid, as they call him.
He's a robotroid.
Yeah, partially mechanical, partially organic.
Oh, my goodness.
The KGB used to make those back in the 70s.
Oh, I'm going to throw up on the microphone. Oh, my God, shit. Someone threw up on you. I'm so sorry. That's fucking hilarious.
Stepford Biden.
Yeah. So, I think we... What do you think?
I don't think.
Toast?
Toast?
We done?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Or do you want to talk about dreams?
We probably have like 10 minutes of recording left.
Yeah.
On this busted-ass memory card.
So, coming to you from the busted-ass memory card for the first time we've ever done episode 3.
This could become our third one. Yeah. We'll
or 4, actually. Wow. 4. We will be talking about dreams.
The next one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So thanks for tuning in.
Sorry for being tight. Love you.
Me? Mm-hmm. Oh, I love you too, Tom.
Yeah. I'm sorry I curse so much. Fuck. Oh, I did it again. Okay.
Hi, Mom.